We moving on to the next segment, the two-piece combo.
Two-piece combo!
So we can give you a little bit of flavor on the YouTube and a little bit of flavor on social media. We're going to watch a video from YouTube. It is by Super Triple OG.
The original Adam of spoken word slam.
The first slam poet,
yes,
essentially.
Yeah.
Marc Smith, he essentially started the entire slam movement at the Green Mill Cocktail Lounge in Chicago, Illinois. So for the listeners at home, for the people that don't know, Marc Smith was a poet that was hosting open mics and wanted to find a way to get more people into the building, essentially. Yep. How do we gain some excitement? How do we garner some excitement for poetry? And it came to him, slams.
But remember that the points are not the points. The point is the poetry.
The way
Marc Kelly Smith actually wrote about it is that it's like, listen, like this is not supposed to be like a serious competition. Shout out to Nationals. This is not supposed to be a serious competition.
Word.
It's just supposed to like create drama.
Excitement.
Yeah, create drama for the audience. It's like, oh, is this guy gonna win? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Poetry.
Yeah, word. So that's kind of the short history of Marc Smith. You can go online. The piece that we're reading is him at the Green Mill Cocktail Lounge. Yeah, Marc Kelly Smith at the Green Mill Cocktail Lounge in Chicago, Illinois. Go on YouTube and check that out. You can pause this. You could come back. You can just not watch it at all and just fucking take our opinion and our word for it. We're going to take a little break and watch it right now and come back with some notes.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, so off the rip, I want to say, like, it's really because like of where we are in the modern era of the slam, and like how a lot of people kind of sound the same, but you know, that's just like generational waves and all that, like, but how different his poetry is, like how it comes from a more literary background of like, it's like a very slice of life kind of thing, as opposed to like a very over the head narrative, you know, curb stomp your face with this point, like, yo, this is about like fucking politics, this is about getting your heart broken, like Marc Kelly Smith does that whole old school style of, yo, this is what it was like to ride a train, you know, and just like that slice of life, you could put whatever meaning you want into it, you could interpret it however you want it, and his narrative style, it's not super dense with metaphor like page poetry, literary poetry is. Like he translated that to a performance aspect, and the way he did it with like the rhythm changes.
And the rhythm changes, I like that.
And the way he did it with it, like the level change, like the way he whispered it out.
Yeah.
You know, just like how the smoke like from a train like wisps out like fire.
Word.
I would have gave that, like if I saw that today, I would have gave that a 10.
Damn.
But at the same time, like I don't know, if I was at like a slam where every poet was like him, I don't know, because it's so novel. It's such a novelty to us in the modern era of slam. It's like it's so different, and like the way he did it was perfectly executed. But without that novelty, like it's really hard for me to hear it with fresh ears like that.
Yeah.
Word. And you mentioned one thing that I really liked was his cadence through the whole thing.
Yeah,
so for the listener, if you don't want to listen to it, it's a train piece. It's about a train. And he has that very nice, like, building train feeling. Like, you know, that the sound of a train leaving a station is very distinct. And we all know what that rhythm is and what that feels like. And he emulates that well. And then at one point, he goes on to say, train men, brain men, engineers, gears, bodies, the broken minds, the wheels whine, the whistle howls. And like the way that he performs that, and on paper, it's two separate fucking things. Like I typed that out because I was like, oh, that's fire. Like the cadence of that and the actual meaning, train men, brain men, engineers, gears, bodies, the broken minds, the wheels whine, the whistles howl. And then you write it and you see it and it's a completely different thing. And like his cadence is so fire, and you kind of feel like we're at like a war right there, like the train's fucking moving. And that line really took me out of the world essentially and into this world. Like, oh damn, this is and that's kind of the thing that I feel like spoken word's missing a bit of. We're not transporting people enough anymore. This piece took me to a train. And
it's not relying on emotion like a lot of slam pieces are today.
Word. And like
it's really like painting
on your heart.
The emotion's second, right? So the experience, I'm on the train first, and then we're on the train and we're trying to figure out what this poem's about. Like, oh, you took me there, and now what does this mean to to me because you took me there. I'm there either fucking way. Like, I can't get off the train now. You just took me to this magical train. So what is this about?
Shout out to
this?
Hogwarts.
Yeah. What is the point of this? Like, why am I on this train now?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the one thing that I feel is kind of lacking in the spoken word scene, is that like transportive, like storytelling narrative. Like, all right, I'm going to take you somewhere and then I'm going to leave that place up to your interpretation. That's kind of the brilliance of poetry. That's why poetry helps with like us as a whole and paradigms and all of those things. It makes us think critically by taking us somewhere. And I mean, to hear that from like the triple OG.
Out of 10? Out of 10?
Out of 10, if I saw this, I would probably give it a 9. I'm not going to give it like a 10 out the bars. There could have been a little bit more of a direction. But I did get it. Like, for me, I felt like this was, as opposed to like the big train metaphor, which you hear a lot, which is like, we're all on the track, we're all on the train. It was definitely like some individualist shit. Like, no, we are all this hodgepodge of tracks and trains, and we are all on some track, and we are all going to here or there or here or there or here or there.
And it was only 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's all these intersecting.
120 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Keep it 120, God. Keep that third eye open. You know what I'm saying? Reach for that 7, God.
But yeah, instead of like the normal train metaphor, it was like, no, we all trains and we all, and that kind of adds or lends itself to the calamity of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you think of life as we are all individual trains on individual tracks, that's a cluttered, messy fucking railway system. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Charles, out of 10.
Out of 10. So, you know, you guys had me thinking real quick. Now, do I judge it in 10 during his time period?
Word.
Right, facts.
Or, you know, comparative to now. But if I did see that now and comparative to what, you know, you might see, I might, like what Daniel said, might be a 9 out of 10.
That's what I'm saying. The God.
Yeah, and
Classic.
I think it might also, you know, like growing up in New York too, you know, being on the subways and you see like old man, you know, spitting on the floor, you know, like shit you would see, you know, or people being crazy or whatever it might be. Like, you know, we're all on those tracks together, you know, whatever time that experience. So I think that's what you said with a good story, like how you can connect to the story, you know, what is there something personal that author or writer has conveyed within their message. So that's why when I was listening to it, you know, it's like, all right, I feel that. Like, So on a personal tip, you would get high points for that. You get points for his style, like you said, the cadence that was real big. I know it's like it was that varial, you know, wasn't all the same tone. Also, it was subtle but straight at you as well too. It wasn't like what you're saying, like,
right.
I'm gonna talk about this and this is what I'm talking about. It was like, nah, I'm telling the story. Follow along, you know. So
I like how you said subtle because like I that just reminded me how like poets these days they will do like a rhythm change, but it's like always in the most obvious way, like I'm gonna be spitting real fast like my grind boy at 140 BPM, and then let it breathe, and I'm gonna be really sad about this shit. It's like so bait, bro. Hella bait. It's like dead ass. But then with Man's over there, it's like when you're saying subtlety, it's like, yo, this is a fine cuisine plate that he's serving us right now, as opposed to just like ham-fisted, fistfuls of seasoning on top of like a cheap, 80-cent slice of pizza that you got at the frozen food section. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like he's really taking the craft and time to, be subtle, and every word and every syllable at the rate he says it is measured.
Word.
It's like when somebody said like, that person's acting. Like when you could tell like they're acting, like how you said, like, you could see, you see that change, like, that was intentional.
That's contrived.
Yeah, contrived. Where it was just like that just seemed like natural, you know. You'd be like that, then we'd be like, yo, that's a good actor. You know what I mean? Like,
And he also I like how you mentioned the subtlety, but because of the subtlety, it leaves the whole story open interpretation. And like, I feel like in the modern era, the train would have crashed. You feel me? Like they would have concluded this journey. They would have been
over
like
here with those script rewrites.
Like that's what would have happened in this world. It would have been like some context of like the train crashed, or we got to the station and nobody was there to pick me up, or like some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
as opposed to
Hollywood bastardization.
As opposed to what he did, which was like, and then the train keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going until you can't see it, until you can't hear it, until you think it doesn't exist. It's still fucking going. And where it's going, I don't know. You tell me. That's the point of poetry. You tell me where the train goes. You tell me what happens to the train, as opposed to like we've said again, time and time again. But we see you. We trying to get you there, y'all. there is just this ham-fisted like, no, this is what you gotta believe. This is the point of my poem, and if you don't get the point of my poem,
fuck you.
Yeah, then fuck off.
Yeah.
Because this is like, and it's like, no. Like because it was subtle, this is going to get like me to a place that it's not going to get Kuya to, or it's not going to get Charles to. Like, we're both all going to get something different but similar out of this. And again, one more time, like, if this was written in the modern era, motherfucking train would have crashed. Like some kind of kitschy, like snap-worthy fucking
question. If he performed that, like, let's say it was like nobody knew who he was, and he performed that at like a slam night, what do you think people in the audience would have scored him?
The one thing I've found whenever I do like real literary or real like formatted poetry is just goes over the head. Right. Everybody's just like, oh shit, I have to interpret. I can't do that right now, so I'm not going to. And given like in a spoken word environment, that's not
spoon feeding you.
Yeah, and it's not like
narrative.
the best
I kind of
time.
like that though. This is what I like. This face.
Yeah, word. And I had an OG.
Just like, oh shit! Like what did I just get hit with? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've had an
For
OG
those that
tell
are
me,
only
like,
listening, Charles gave us the One
shit
Punch Man.
face.
You gave the One Punch Man blank face. It's the moon face emoji.
Yeah.
And I was told like early on, you're not writing for the people that are going to miss it, because there's going to be one motherfucker in that place that's going to get it, and it's going to impact and change their fucking life.
Yeah.
Question is like if he performed that in the first round, do you think he would have survived to round two?
Nah.
Yeah. Facts.
Nah.
He would got like downvoted out the building.
Maybe on that novelty tip, because like you do see that even at the biggest slam venues, they will get people through just on that novelty tip. Like, and I'm an old man talking about something old men usually don't talk about, or like I'm a funny this, or like, you know what I'm saying?
He might make it to the city qualifiers, but he's getting knocked out first round of eye whips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
he ain't going to finals.
All right. Well, speaking of like how far he would get, let's see where hashtag poetry, how far that would get. And we're on Instagram today
for the low part of the two piece, the wing, if you will.
Right. So first actual poem that shows up on hashtag poetry. We're not talking about like Instagram thotty models that be like hashtag poetry. My body's a work of art. Nah,
my booty is poetry.
First poem that we got is from account at Cleo Mencheraldo. I'll put some graphics on so you can see
I'm fucking with that name though.
Right. All right. So the poem goes: your eyes will never find a path for the world here in my mind. It's not a commonplace, full of words and sounds. Together in cadence, my thoughts just dance with so many turnarounds. You can't image the sense they all have to me. So if you want to stay, don't even try to say what I do have to be.
I like to keep things real sunny on my side of the street, but I'm not feeling that at all.
Right. Like I felt like they put it in like a specific stanza style of writing, and you could see like they're trying to count the syllables, and a lot of it feels kind of shoehorned in.
I feel that.
Like that. That's like they all have to me. So if you try to stay, don't even try to say what I do have to be. It's like what I do have to be doesn't roll off the tongue. You know what I mean? It's like oh,
that doesn't even make sense, G. That's not poetic.
Yo, is that what I do have to be?
Yeah. It feels
like tisseth thine goneth. Like maybe it's a modern.
Let's
giving her a lot of credit.
This is not no bootleg Elizabethan. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say it one time. This feels like homework. This feels like poetry homework somebody did in their junior college class, and then they were like, "Oh, I got a B. I'm gonna make a meme out of it."
I mean, like, shout out to you, Cleo Mencheraldo, for like trying to go back to like more traditional forms of written poetry and style, but just the cadence of the words, like you could say poetic license as much as you want, but if it doesn't land, it doesn't hit. You know?
Yeah, and like Charles said it for a second, like Shakespeare, bless the God, his shit was bars. That's why he was able to do whatever the fuck he wanted. Yeah. If you write Hamlet, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But baby girl, like you, and this is a growing exercise.
Is this a dude
you
or
know
a
what I'm
girl?
saying? Yeah, I don't know. They both. You still baby.
All right.
Shout out
So
to
baby girl, you still baby.
shout out to
Yeah,
G. You know what I'm
you
saying?
still because I see
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah.
I see the growth there. I see
Yeah.
like the reaching. I see somebody trying to write
Yeah.
something and then executing it and being like, all right. I have plenty of these poems at home in my fucking folder that no one will ever fucking see.
And you're not gonna make an Instagram post about
Hell
it
no.
using an image app that puts text against a very beautiful, lovely, marbleized piece of paper.
word.
In Courier
word,
new
word,
font, you know what I'm
word.
saying? But yo, and like it's also like you could tell this person's young because
I was thinking the
very,
same
like,
thing actually. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
because they're like, oh,
What
like
are we thinking? What are you thinking, young?
I'm an intellectual.
I was thinking high school, man. You was
Yeah,
like, you
me
were
too.
nice with junior college. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Because in high school, that's when you're forming your first opinions and ideas, and like, yo, this is so lit to me.
I think, yeah, it's a young writer. Somebody's just starting to explore, you know.
Maybe in
their-
like IB
pen.
English,
Yeah.
maybe like honors English, but
Man, they could be.
But at the same time, you know, like,
maybe they took a poetry class or it
Yeah,
was a
word,
poetry
word.
they are,
assignment. Yeah.
you are on your path if you are listening to this somehow, Cleo Minstrel. You are on your
Yeah,
path,
yeah.
and like there are glimpses of like you're forming something of semblance, and
Yeah.
like it's just word choice. That's all. It's and I know probably maybe you're in a rush. You just wanted to get this out within the form, but at the same time, like it is worth your time, and it's worth every poet's time to just like rewrite until something dope comes out. Like most
Yeah,
definitely said
word.
in the
Yeah.
song. It's like yo, like sometimes I rewrite 1,000 times and throw
Yeah.
it away 1,000 times because it's not there.
Or maybe come
And-
back to. I remember him saying that too. He's like, I'll come back to it, let it wait, and I'll come back
Yeah,
and get
that's-
back on it. Yeah.
word.
So yeah, with her, I'd say you get an A for effort. You know.
Out of 10?
Yeah, she get an A for effort. Once you know, I
No,
say.
but the piece out of 10.
out
no.
of 10, I'll give her a 5.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
5. For me, I'm on the Anthony Fantano scale of like if it's a 5, it's like it's not great, but like I am not angry that I listened to it.
We'll
No.
be grading on there's a scale here. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Yeah, this
grading
is
here.
not the oversaturated, like hella gassed up slam scale. Nah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're trying to be fair about it. And yeah, I would say 5 is fair.
I would say the only slam I support is slamming people. I just want you to know that.
Shout out to the Capoeira God. Even Shaquille O'Neal could get a heel kick to the face.
Yeah, I guess.
Capoeira kick to the face. Doesn't matter how tall you are.
Because I see a lot of cats come out there, hella chest pump, like they was, this the piece. And somebody pull up a 1 on them or something like that, or like a 2. It's like, and then you just watch that go.
Word.
I like, hey man, maybe you should just went in to spit the piece someplace else,
Yeah, a few more times.
Yeah, not even in the slam setting. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
word.
just go someplace where it's not a slam and you could just do your poetry and you good,
And I said it once. I'm sure that you could agree, Charles. We got shit like this at home. I got these in my folder. I got those pieces where it's like, man, this is whack. I might come back to this. I might never
this
look at
sounds
this
like
again.
this
but-
reads like a throwaway National Poetry Month piece. It's like
on
Yeah, the
30,
30
on 30.
pieces.
Yeah, you're just like here we go, son.
Okay.
Here we go. On
But
deck.
you feel me though? You got some of these at home. You got some of these in your like.
I've got somewhere I just had been one line and I'm like, okay, we good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
I've
love
got
going through my
nothing.
work in progress page because it's
No.
like, what the fuck was I writing?
Yeah.
Why? I'm glad nobody's gonna see this.
Or I've come back on some stuff and was like, damn, you wrote that back then? That was fire. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, word.
I didn't even
Why'd
know
I
you
miss
had
this?
that. Yeah, I didn't even know you had that. Like,
That's what's up. Well, I guess
Yeah.
the lesson here is that keep on your track.
Keep
girl.
writing.
Keep doing it. Keep doing
Yeah.
it. You growing. You doing all right. But again, the other lesson there is like, you know what I'm saying? Relax.
Stay humble.
Don't be posting all your work.
Yeah, stay
Post the
humble.
work that you are 100% sure should be posted. And you know what I'm saying? Keep it. Let it cultivate. Let it curate your work. Curate who you are as an artist before you start making memes.
maybe that stuff should have like a poetry count, like how many stuff you have posted, so we know, like, oh, this is their first post, or
Yeah,
like,
word,
or this is your
word,
100th
word,
post.
word,
Then it
word.
could be like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because I don't know if it's a first, he or she, they first post or not, or just, so I'm trying to give them somewhat the benefit. I'm a benefit of the doubt. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, right? I see what it could be or what you didn't touch, but I will say, hey, maybe this is your first time writing, your first time posting, or whatever it might be. I don't know. So, but I wish you the best. Yeah.
Yeah, get it. I hope you got A on your homework. That's the 2-piece. Moving on to the last segment of the show. 5 for your eye.
Y'all watch the Pink Clique on YouTube, so y'all know what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, rise, survive.
Thank y'all.
Love y'all.